This is Vikcast. It's a Viking thing.
Rosslager.
Shield wall!
All of my life and all of your lives have come to this point. There is nowhere else to be but here.
No, I always knew I would love these Northmen.
This is Vikcast with Clive Standen and Amy Bailey.
And as the King of Wessex and King of Bretwalda, all of England, I order you to listen to Vikcast. It's a Viking thing.
The podcast direct from Valhalla.
Hi everyone, I'm George Blagden and I play Athelstan on Vikings, and you should tune into this incredible podcast, Vikcast. It's a Viking thing.
This is Vikcast.
Rosslager. Shield wall.
Hello, I am Alyssa Sutherland, and this is Vikcast. It's a Viking thing.
This is Joseph Parker on Vikcast. It's a Viking thing.
Hey guys, welcome to Vikcast. This is Amy Bailey and Clive Standen.
And we are joined by Joseph Parker, former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, currently ranked third, and he has a great fight coming up with Derek Chisora, and we're lucky to have him here today. Hey, Joseph.
Are you standing up, Joseph?
Yeah, I'm standing up.
That's amazing. I love it.
He's training as we go.
Yeah.
You've been training today?
We already trained twice today, putting in the work. Not long now until the fight, so it's we're getting very close.
Well, I understand you're a big Vikings fan. That's why we got you on today. We wanted to start with a few Viking questions and pick your brain on who your favorite character is.
Listen, I love Vikings. That's the reason why I got in touch. I remember watching it. It was a while ago. I have to admit it was a while ago, but when I started watching it, I was addicted. And I kept watching, episode after episode. I kept watching them all. And then I finally caught up. Then I had to wait for the last season. So I haven't really seen most of the last season yet, but I just love the Vikings. It was awesome.
That's cool. I think we certainly feel, Clive and I feel honored to have a champion like yourself who likes our humble little show, but it's pretty cool. I think Vikings fans are going to be pretty impressed to see a real live warrior. Not that you aren't, Clive. You're so badass, but Joseph, you're a real live warrior. So this is really cool. We're excited. And I just have to draw attention that you are standing and doing this interview, this is very different. Is this part of your training?
It never stops training.
Just strengthening my legs for the fight.
Have you got a favorite scene in Vikings that comes to mind?
It's hard to think of a single scene because I've seen it a while ago. But when I think of a scene, I really love the first season when Ragnar discovered the UK, and also the French storyline when he went attacking Paris. I really like the beginning of the Vikings and the first season.
Well, I find a similarity with you and Ragnar right now, because you've chosen your training camp to be in the UK, which is a very, very long way away from New Zealand and home. Ragnar in the show in season 1, when he's preparing to fight Earl Haraldson, he has to take himself away from Lagertha and his children. As Lagertha says, everyone's asking where he's gone, and he's gone to take himself away to get mentally and physically prepared. And we see him chopping wood and just sitting there and kind of getting into the right headspace. Can you relate to that with the training camp? And you're in Morecambe, right? I'm in Morecambe at the moment, just like Ragnar. It's when you're at home, you're comfortable. And you have family and your friends, but in order to be, I think, a warrior and someone who, to strengthen you mentally and physically as well, you have to be away from home. And even though you miss family and friends, I miss my kids, I miss my wife, but just like Ragnar, for me, it's good to be isolated away from everyone, so I can focus purely on training, and that'll obviously give me, just positive energy for the fight. And my full focus is on training, eating, and sleeping, and being a warrior and preparing for this fight. So it's very similar. And you've got 3 kids as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Three girls, huh?
3 girls. And the thing, just in the Vikings as well, he missed out a lot of what happened back home. I've missed out on, I'm not proud of it, births of my daughters. I've missed out on birthdays, weddings, etc. But it's what we do to become a warrior.
Daddy's hunting buffalo. He's out there on the range, kind of come home with the money. Yeah.
When you, Joseph, when you first got together with your wife, were you, I know you were boxing from when you were tiny, but do you think she had any clue that it was going to go this way, that you were going to be, champion of the world, and it's going to be a really big part of her life too?
I feel like my wife believed in me from the beginning. I met my wife back in school. So we've been together I've known her for over half my life, since I was 13 years old. Cool. And I'm 29 now. So we've known each other for a long time. She's been supportive of me from the very beginning. And I give her a lot of credit because she holds it down for us back in New Zealand. You know, being a mother is probably harder than being a fighter. You know, you got kids, you got cleaning, you got this, you got that. A fighter, all we do is focus on training, eating, and sleeping. So I feel like it's a lot harder. So respect to all the mothers out there. You guys are doing awesome.
You know, it's not dissimilar. Like the psychological warfare that a toddler pulls on you is pretty brutal. You know,
listen. After I reckon after 3 hours or 4 hours of just the kids and me, I'm calling for help. You know.
Joseph, I follow you on Instagram. If anyone doesn't follow Joseph on Instagram, they should go and check out his Instagram page. One, you do these really funny videos, and you kept me really entertained during lockdown. But also, I've been watching you train for this Derek Chisora fight, and you seem like you're out in the elements a lot as well. I mean, how is your training regime out in Morecambe? Are you training outside a lot? Are you kind of, getting out in the elements, or and how much do you have to change your workout regime when you're in your off time? Is the training camp right now about getting to peak physical condition, or are you really already always on kind of tip top condition, and it's more about just training specifically for the opponent you're getting prepared for?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of training. There's a lot of training that's done in the gym. There's a lot of training that we do outdoors. You know, we go for a group of us go for runs. We go up the hills, 4.7 miles. We're on 6 miles another day, 10 miles another day. We're doing a lot of running outside. It's just good to be outside and get the weather, like the nice weather. Morecambe is a cold place, but the sun comes up now and then. So whenever it comes up, we always go out there and make the most of it. In terms of training outside of camp, I've always struggled in finding balance. I must admit I was very bad in the past, where I'll go home after a fight, relax, eat too much, burgers, chips, have fun with my friends, and don't do a lot of training. But I feel like with maturity, I've found a balance. I find a balance of having fun, but also keeping in shape. And now that I've come into camp and already in shape, now we're just focusing on skills, techniques, and it's very good. You feel great when you're in shape. You look good, You feel good. What else are you going to do?
How do you, Joseph, speaking of balance, when I was researching you, because I am representing the Vikings fans who do not know anything about boxing. I now do, thanks to you and Clive. So it's awesome, fascinating. I'm blown away by the skill and the tenacity and everything's brilliant. But how are you balancing all of this run up to your fight? You're working so hard, but you're taking so many of these publicity calls. There was just so many Zooms and publicity calls. And I feel like that pulls a lot of your attention away. How are you balancing all of that social media stuff?
As a fighter, it's very important. I feel like it's very important you embrace everything that comes with being a fighter. And that's the fans, that's the supporters, that's the media, that's the training, that's everything involved. You got to enjoy the food that you're eating. Whether it's healthy or not, you just got to enjoy it. And I think as a fighter, you have to, like I said, embrace it, enjoy it, make the most of it, because this is not going to last forever. You're given a time slot to make the most of it, and then in a few years' time, you can relax and retire and enjoy life.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it? Some people are chasing a dream and you never really take a stop in the moment and actually go, look what I've achieved, look where I am right now, and enjoy the moment. You keep talking about eating burgers and chips and things like that, but seriously, what is your diet like when you're training as well? Because you must be burning so many calories, and you're a big guy. And I know that you have to, as you get closer and closer to the fight, you have to cut and make weight and everything. And, I'm just connecting this to the Vikings as well. We'd love to just, eat and eat and eat and eat. And those scenes we'd be eating like lamb chops and everything like that. And, I'm just imagining, heavyweight boxer is no different. It's kind of like the everything diet. But you must have to trim back and things. Is there other days when you're running out of energy because you're not eating enough, or do you just make sure you just keep fueling and fueling?
It's important to eat. Like, imagine you don't give yourself the best food, then you're not going to get the best, out of your body in terms of training and performance. So it's important, like when you come into camp, it's a lot of oats, vegetables, salad, greens. But now I've come to love it. Before I used to love burgers and chips and fast food, but now I love eating clean because it makes you feel good. There's a difference with when you eat a burger, like it's temporarily you're like, okay, this is nice, but then after you're like, why did I do that? Sometimes, So it's become a lifestyle, and like I said, maturity has helped me find that balance.
Hey, Clive, didn't they give you a spit bucket on set?
I never learned to use it. They would give us all this food, And then, a lot of it was great food. It was like, really succulent lamb chops and ribs and things like that. But you forget that obviously if they're filming Amy first, for instance, then no one's actually seeing me eat. So if I'm, if they do all of that first and then they turn the camera on me, you've already eaten like 3 meals worth of food and then you don't want to eat anything else. I never learned how to do that because the way I act is I always do the same. I do the same thing if I'm off camera or on camera because I try and give the actor my best performance. But what happens in those kind of scenes is you're sitting there just eating and eating when someone else is acting and the camera's not seeing anything. And then the camera comes on you and you're like, yeah.
I would love one day just to see you guys in action. You know what I mean? Honestly, I am a big fan of Vikings. It would just be awesome just to see you guys in action and doing your thing.
Well, we're doing a spin-off show, Valhalla. It's going to be on Netflix, so there is still a chance to get you on the show and get you into.
We should talk to our people, Viking. Clive. Get him on.
Yeah, but it's not all it's cracked up to be as well. Though I remember when I joined the Frankish wave and Rollo becomes French. I love oysters. It's one of my favorite things. And they were like, we're going to have this. I remember reading the script, Rollo and Giza are eating oysters. And I'm like, I love oysters. I'm going to get to eat oysters all day. And obviously they're not going to fill me up. And then I get there and the props department are like, we've got you dried mushrooms that we've put in apple juice overnight because the lights would make the oysters go bad. So they were like, so I'm sitting there eating these horrible dried mushrooms that have been soaked in and trying to be like,
if you guys love oysters, New Zealand has to be a place to visit after the lockdown and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I love New Zealand. I went to New Zealand several years, like 10 years ago, and I couldn't believe it was the diversity of the landscape. We started from the north of the island. We went all the way down along the south, and it was from like rainforest to moon landscapes to beaches. It was the most beautiful country I've ever been to, hands down.
You're most welcome to come back and bring Clive along as well.
Yeah, well, I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan as well, and it's like I would love to just go there and just feel like Aragorn for a day and just lose myself in that beautiful nature.
All right, let's lock that in after.
Yeah. You were talking about how you're feeling as well, how food makes you feel good. That just reminded me of another question I'd love to ask you about how you actually feel when the training camp's all done. I personally am always interested in the run up to a battle and what goes through someone's mind. So could you kind of give us an insight to how it feels like the morning of your fight? When you get up in the morning, in the evening, you've got to deliver 5 minutes before you go into the ring. 5 minutes after the fight, whether you win or lose, we like to think you're going to win. But how do you feel? Do you feel just elated? Do you feel like you've lost? Do you just feel like it doesn't take it in? And then
feel like you want to throw up?
Yeah, the morning after the night before, when you actually wake up in the morning and you've won, and does your body feel battered and bruised, and you just want to do nothing, or do you want to go out and party? I mean, give us an insight into the run up to the 3 days.
The morning of the fight, when I get to sleep in, and when I wake up, we have team breakfast, and then we go for a nice walk just to get that air in the morning. And then the most important thing for us, or I think for most fighters, some fighters don't act the same, but the most important thing is to stay relaxed and stay calm, and just enjoy, like I said, enjoy the whole process. I keep saying it, but you have to enjoy it. So we go for a team walk. We go back to the house, play cards, play PlayStation, whatever it is. I always win. I'm not sure why. Maybe I'm good, or maybe they're just trying to keep me staying positive, confidence. And then the most important part for me would be the nap that I get before I go to the stadium. It's like, what do you consider a nap? Is it 2 hours or longer? Is that?
That's a sleep, Joe. That's a sleep.
I have little kids. I don't sleep anymore.
A nap is like 15 to half an hour. I reckon.
Okay, so I get to sleep. I get to sleep like 2 to 3 hours, and then before the fight, and then when I head to the venue, I get into the change room. There's music playing. We're dancing. We're singing. We're having fun, telling jokes. And it's not until I'm in the ring, when the referee's saying, "Okay, you're ready for the fight," that's when the switch is on.
Yeah.
But before that, and in the morning after, the hardest part about the fight is the after party. So the morning after, I'm tired from the after party.
Of course, yes.
I wanted to say I was watching a bunch of stuff on you on YouTube, and it was Mike Tyson talking about you and a bunch of other guys. But this is his quote about that moment, which I thought was interesting, and I wondered if it rang true. Mike Tyson said, "The big moment in the ring, by the time the guys are facing each other, those nerves and fears go away, they evolve, and now it's just a fight, just like any other sparring match in the gym." I felt that was so, I was like, really? This seems so mega, but I don't know, maybe when you're there and you get tunnel vision, is it just another sparring match?
He's definitely right. Like leading into the fight, you're human, right?